is the worst kind of pain. In case you're wondering, there's no escaping from the horror of that day. Picking up the
Doing well.
A little bit better.
Great.
Here, all things considered. Yeah, so I'm Kamal. I am editor of Alt Nubian. Just like some quick background on it. It's been a blog for about a year and a half or so. Really, the goal was just kind of like creating the blog experience minus the capitalism, minus like the whole like, oh, pay for features. So that's really what it is. It's really kind of my brainchild. Trying to post like stuff that's not all the same. Like I don't kind of want to focus on one genre just because I don't listen to one genre. So so yeah. So
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
glad to have you all on.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
appreciate it.
If everyone wants to go around and kind of say, also to just heads up, it's recording because this will be on YouTube. Everyone wants to go around and say their name, what they do in the band, and also the first time, the first album or song that really kind of put the batter in your back or whatever.
All right, Dylan, why don't you start?
I'm Dylan. I know you can't see me. I play guitar and I sing.
You gotta give like a song or some shit.
Yeah.
So like, oh, sorry, I'm trying to get this working on my phone. I've only
Don't worry about it, bro. It's in the past. Just roll with it.
Anyway, so yeah, we started this a few years ago. It was me and Alex, the drummer. You see him. We wrote a couple songs together and then just kind of didn't really do anything with it. And then a few years later, we got Mitchell in and wrote some more songs. And that was the first song we ever wrote was called Adeline, which is the title track off our album. And we went from there.
Yeah. Mitchell, why don't you go next?
All right, I'm Mitchell. I play guitar and I sing. Yeah, that's what I do. No, I was like the third person to get added to this because Dylan and Alex wrote a lot of music before. Me, Alex, and Dylan are brothers. Our other brother, Chad, they used to have a band. I never really got into the music until probably like 5-6 years ago. When they were like, oh, this guy can actually do something, like he's actually decent. So yeah, I got into it a little bit later, but I really enjoyed it. And it's been awesome writing with my brothers, and then our two might as well be brothers, Ross and Nick. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'll go next then. I'm Alex. I attempt to play the drums and I attempt to scream too. I do some vocals now.
Yep.
Didn't used to, but yeah. Kind of like what Dylan said. This whole project just started with the two of us, and then we wrote a couple songs in our mom's basement, and then it's kind of snowballed since then. And we added Mitchell on, and we recorded an album, just the three of us. And then we wanted to play some live shows. So we're like, hey, let's get a couple more guys in the band because it's kind of tough to do big metal songs with just three people. So let's enter these other two guys here. Nick, you can kind of take over.
All right. I'm Nick. I play guitar. I've known like Mitch and Al and Dylan for a long time, like from school and like running in the same circles and that kind of stuff. And when they decided they want to start playing live, they put out a listing on Facebook, saying they're looking for people. And I sent them a message and we jammed once, and that was that. We just kind of clicked and took off from there.
Ross, you next, bro.
So I'm Ross. I play bass. I met Dylan through another band that we did maybe 5-10 years ago. It's been now. And then I met Alex from an original project that the three of us were in, and they needed somebody to play bass for for Misery Falls. And I was more than happy to join up. These guys are amazing musicians, and it was just, I'm all in.
Word. Yeah, so I think you said like I kind of started adding members like for shows. Like, what is the scene like? Because you guys are New York. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
I
we're
cut out. a little
Western
bit.
New York. Yeah.
Oh,
Orleans County.
okay, for sure. Where so like, I guess my question is like, is there a scene there? I know in Detroit there's like a punk scene and like a bunch of stuff here, but is there like a scene? What's that like? Doing
Yeah,
shows and
Dylan, why
stuff
don't you
there.
take that?
So yeah, there's a great music scene in our area. We're right between Rochester and Buffalo, and man, there is just so much great music. Like it's wild how many awesome musicians and bands there are in our area.
I'll add on to it. So like metal in Orleans County doesn't really fit in great, to be honest. Tons of classic rock, lots of awesome, cover bands, but we're in between Erie County and Monroe County, so like both of those counties have great metal scenes, whereas where we are, it's more rural, so there's not really that much. So we kind of stick out as far, like right now, I think we're pretty much the only. There's one other metal band really from our county, that's still going and actually doing things. So we kind of stick out that way, but we definitely reach into those other counties and try to get our music out there. Yeah, but it's definitely a lot of cover bands and stuff around here, so we're a little different. Maybe it's a good thing.
So how did you guys kind of get into like metalcore specifically?
Yeah, I'll take this. Really, our roots are in classic rock. Aerosmith, CCR, that kind of stuff. But then Dylan, he's the oldest of, we have, there's 4 brothers. So he's the oldest, and he kind of started getting into metal and metalcore and stuff. What would you say, Dylan? Probably once you got into high school, right?
By 2009 was when I started getting it. So I was a senior in high school.
Yeah, so like you were just about to graduate. And I remember when I heard my brothers listening to this metal, Escape the Fate, the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, bands like that. There he is.
There I am.
There we go.
I remember being kind of cynical. I'm like, oh, what's this screaming? Like, we can't have none of this. But then the more you listen to it, the more you're like, oh, this shit kicks ass. And you need the screaming, it's angry, dark music. You need that element. And I don't think people realize that it's not a lot of people's cup of tea. So sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. So yeah, I guess we got into metal through just listening to all these bands, and we were already playing music and stuff like that. But listening to all these bands, Dylan and then our other brother Chad, they started a metal band, and then me and Mitchell kind of filtered our way through years later. So that's kind of the start of metal for us.
Yeah,
sure.
Word. So like, is there like a different approach, like in terms of, because my first thought is thinking like even stuff like breakdowns, like that's something that in most other rock genres you don't have to write that in specifically, but I noticed like with a lot of like metalcore bands, it's like, oh, we have to intentionally write in these breakdowns, like how is this gonna work? So like, what does that even look like, kind of approaching those?
Yeah, Mitchell, why don't you go ahead and kind
of. So like, the majority of our songs do have breakdowns, but it's not like we don't need to have them. It's just for our songs, like they really do fit. Like you'll notice, like if you would listen to our songs, like there are some of them, like we have an acoustic one, we have a couple that aren't really like breakdowny songs, so there's not like they're not really super breakdowny songs, but like sometimes you just need that aggressive, like heavy stuff to really like push the song to the next level. And if it fits, we put it in. We write what we want to write. It's not like a rule. There really are no like set structures to our songs. It's just like, man, if we feel like there's this awesome buildup or something that leads into it, and then it's like, oh, we could put a breakdown here, we just do it. And we try to make it so our breakdowns don't sound super similar to others, because it's hard to do. But if you throw in some different time signatures and different like leads and stuff over them, you can make them stand out. So that's what kind of our approach to it.
Yo, Nick, what band has the best breakdowns though?
Ooh, for me, it's got to be Architects.
Oh, right. Shit. That's not what I expected you to say. Wow. They do
Yeah.
have some sick
Yeah,
breakdowns.
no,
though.
like their newest album, That Does Not Defeat, like the breakdowns on that album are just so sludgy and so like
Oh, okay. I thought you were
in
gonna
your
say
face.
that they remember, and I was about to agree with you.
Yeah, well, no, I love A Day to Remember. They're like my first love when it comes to metal music for sure.
Right.
But
I feel like for like me, like that's kind of the bar. Is A Day to Remember. Like
oh,
to
absolutely.
me, like they're
Yeah.
like simple breakdowns. They're nothing too complex, but
Yeah.
when they hit, man, they
hit
hard
hard.
hit,
And
dude.
for me, what I always loved about metal music, going back to like the other question, like metalcore, is like
Yeah.
it's a melodic aspect about it.
Yep.
It's
Yes.
such an emotional genre of music that it's
Yep.
like no matter what you're going through, there's always something in it you can relate to and take from it.
Yep, for sure.
So
Very
That's
nice.
awesome. Like, how do you outside of like the like breakdown stuff? Are most songs written by Dylan and Alex, or like how does the songwriting kind of process work with you all?
Let's see. Yeah, I mean Dylan and Mitchell actually do the majority of the writing, or at least they did before we added Nick and Ross in. Like we said, it started with me and Dylan, but once we added Mitchell into the fold, Mitchell's an excellent writer. I will say this till the day I die. At least around Western New York, nobody's a better metal writer than Mitchell. And might be a little biased, but I like to say it to the day I die, dude. He writes complex stuff, but it's catchy. That's a nice
Right.
balance. And then you throw Dylan in, and then Dylan writes catchy hooks and stuff like that. And then I just add my 2 cents here and there. Being the drummer, I don't really put too much of my say into it, just kind of the dynamics, I guess, and the structure rather than the actual songwriting. But yeah, the two of them combined, they do the brunt of the writing. And then we throw Nick and Ross in, and Nick actually just wrote a song for our new EP that's going to be coming out here pretty soon. Nick's a great writer too. Just really, like I said, complexity and catchiness. That's key, I think.
we like writing
and-
music that gets stuck in your head, and doesn't
Exactly.
appeal just to metal fans.
Exactly. And then Ross will put his 2 cents in every now and then too. So it's become more of a collective thing, whereas it started with just me, Dylan, and Mitchell really doing most of it.
All right, I'm glad you said that, because I think even listening to like Adeline, and as a body of work, like the choruses and stuff are like they stick in terms of the chorus are like super awesome in terms of
Thank you.
like okay,
Yeah,
like I want to
thanks.
listen to this, because I think sometimes like when it comes to like I've never been the most into metalcore. I lean more like hardcore, punk, and stuff like that. But whenever I've listened to some bands, sometimes it's like if you don't have like that melodic kind of thing to return to, or that center,
Right.
it's like
Yeah,
Right,
absolutely.
yeah, definitely.
yeah. So I love that that's kind of in your fabric or whatever. And also too, Dylan's the main vocals, right?
Oh, me and Mitchell both.
Yeah,
do-
we're split
Me and
50-50.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much 50-50.
The voice is awesome. Like
thanks.
it's piercing. It's really like sharp. Awesome. So
Thanks.
yeah. So I'm glad you say that in terms of just like approaching music. And I kind of wanted to ask about like that project, as well as I know you guys dropped a song earlier. Well, that's not this month. It's the new year now.
Yes.
But early in December. So I did want to talk about those. Kind of starting with the album. What was kind of the meaning behind that. You kind of said like Adeline was the name of the first song. So like even taking like the chapter approach and all that, the process or the mindset behind that.
Dylan, all you, bro.
Yeah, definitely Dylan.
So yeah, Adeline, that whole album it's a concept album. I'm a huge Coheed and Cambria fan, huge Alice Cooper fan. So are these other guys, but that was kind of the thing with that was the three bands that really influenced me to do that were Coheed and Cambria, Alice Cooper, like I said, and Alisana. All bands that do a lot of concept stuff, and I'm really into that. So I decided, what, let me do this. Let's do this. And so it's a ghost story. We're all horror fans, so that's why we went that route. And yeah, so that's pretty much how that came about.
And our cat's name is Adeline.
Word. Okay. the reason I'm geeking out is because you said Coheed. That is my favorite band of all time.
Oh yeah,
Which makes sense because they're
Let's
from New York
go.
as well.
that's awesome.
No, yeah, no, it makes total sense. They're from, yep, awesome. What's your favorite Coheed album? I know that's hard, but
Oh shit, man. Dylan, what's yours?
Mine's No World for Tomorrow.
Oh man, it's you can't
wow,
go wrong.
word.
You can't
You
go
can't.
wrong, really.
You can't.
But I gotta say mine would be In Keeping Secrets. It's so raw. They're all
Yeah.
good though.
They're all fantastic.
I'm
They're all
gonna,
good.
yeah, it's probably Good Apollo for me because that's like the first one I heard because I think
Yeah.
it was in
Oh, same. That,
Welcome Home was
that's
in
the
Rock
most
Band or some
influential.
shit like that. Yeah, like
Yeah.
so. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Wow,
Hell yeah.
word. What's everyone else kind of into, like musically? I just feel like I should ask.
I'll start. So out of everybody, I think I listen to a lot of metal. So like I love the classic rock and everything too that I grew up with. But like I definitely once I got into metal, I was like, holy shit, this is for me. So Avenged Sevenfold's my number one band, my favorite band, biggest influence for me, both guitar and vocally. That's where I'm at. I love Escape the Fate, Ice Nine Kills, Bless the Fall. Atreyu is huge too for me. Haste the Day is another one. Those are my like top 5.
I agree with all of those.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Those are all pretty great.
And I love Ozzy Osbourne. You can't go
Hell
wrong
yeah,
with Ozzy
really.
Osbourne. Just
That was the foundation, man. Yep.
that's
Well,
right.
Nick and Ross, what about you guys?
All right, you want to go first, Ross?
Sure. I kind of started with like Disturbed and Slipknot, and I just kind of rode the chain up to the heavier and crazier shit. Honestly, I follow a lot of local music more than like the bigger bands. That we've just got such an awesome scene. I love buying and the shirts and the merch and the CDs. It's just fantastic.
That Misery Falls. Misery Falls fucking sucks.
Yeah, I heard that they're really bad. Their drummer especially.
Yeah, he's Ford, number 4 best drummer in Orleans County, and there are only 4 drummers. Nick,
Amazing.
what about you?
I always started out with classic rock. I mean, that's my roots. I mean, I always go back to that, but I mean, I kind of go in spurts. And then, like, as I got into like high school, like middle school and high school, I started branching out more into the more modern, heavy stuff. You know, like your pop punk, your new metal, that kind of stuff. And right now, I'm actually on a big pop punk kick, like State Champs, that kind of stuff. But I mean, it's always changing. You know, you just never know. It's like a mixed bag.
Hell yeah. Just to kind of piggyback a little bit too, like I think a little bit of what sets some of our music apart is that we get all these different genres that we all like, different bands and stuff, and we kind of meld them all together. Like Dylan and I are very big Southern rock guys. We like a lot of that older Southern rock and stuff. And you'll every once in a while you'll catch a glimpse of that in a guitar solo or a lead or the vocal nuances. And like, oh, you know, that's like a little Southern rocky, even though this is like hard metal. Or like one of our songs, we threw saxophone in. Mitchell's girlfriend, Shar, plays the saxophone. We're like, you know what would be cool? Let's put a saxophone in the song. And it sounds wonky and weird, but it actually worked out pretty nice. It's a nice dynamic. So
Get some
I
of that
really-
jazz
it brings it to
influence in
life.
there.
yes,
Yeah.
dude. It's just we get all of our heads together and we like different things. I think that really helps, especially the writing process too.
Yeah, it totally helps to have like that freedom in terms of like if it's there, if it's an idea, like go for it. For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So like with Red, like this new record, is this off your EP that's coming, or is it just kind of like a loosey goosey into kind of what's different with this new record?
Dylan, why don't you hit that?
So yeah, that song is going to be off our new EP. It's going to be 5 songs. We're not doing the concept with this one, where we took a little break. Where every song is different on this upcoming EP. That particular song is based on Stephen King's Dark Tower series. The Crimson King is the main villain in that series, and that's what that song is about. I'm a huge Stephen King fan.
Word. What's your favorite? I was watching Doctor Sleep like a week ago with my girlfriend.
Oh, yeah?
So I have to ask. Yeah, I have to ask. What's your favorite like Stephen King book or film or
Besides the Dark Tower series, Revival is my favorite for sure.
Word.
Yeah.
Word. I'm just getting into it because everyone who like I'm friends with, they love Stephen King. I'm like, oh, okay, but the movies are helping.
Oh, yeah.
It was cool and
Oh, for sure.
awesome, so
For sure.
word. So here's some bonus questions. For guitarists, what in your rig would you normally have like on your board? Amps, guitar, all that stuff. As well as basses, what are you using?
Wanna go, Mitch?
Yeah, Mitch will go
Yeah.
first.
So I mean, I don't have a ton. I use a Laney Ironheart amp, and a Laney cab, and then we have a custom audio cab too for the like outdoor shows and stuff. So my pedal board, it's pretty simple. I have delay, obviously a tuner, a wah, which I really don't use that much either. What else do I have? I'm trying to compress like a compressor and a noise gate, just pretty much simple, just the basics. And that's pretty much what we use like in the studio too. Like we don't go crazy with a lot of different effects and stuff. We try to keep it pretty raw. Nick is a big gear guy.
Yeah. So I'm a Strat guy, always have been. So I play Strats with humbuckers, I'm into a 5153 with the matching cab, and my effects are all MXR effects. And I mean, I have a lot of pedals, but I use them more for like texture, just stepping on and off on them, just for little bits and pieces instead of playing with effects on all the time. But so
Dylan, what about you?
So for my amp, I use a Blackstar HT 100 head and cab. My board is super simple too, just chorus, tuner, wah, and delay. I've never been a huge pedal guy. I like pedals, but I've just never really done too much with them. And then for guitar, I just use a little Schecter that my girlfriend got me. It's a badass guitar.
Word. Yeah, I'm like just getting into the whole pedal thing because it's a whole new world. I think
It is.
it's mad expensive. It's expensive
Oh
as
my
fuck.
gosh, yeah, it is. Pricey.
But it's cool. Yeah. I just always have to ask because sometimes you talk to people and they have like this whole rig of like just crazy stuff. Like, oh, there's like 12 pedals here. It's like,
yeah, like Rage Against the Machine kind of
so,
stuff.
you always gotta ask. Yeah, literally. So it's like you gotta ask sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah. I guess some bonus questions. What are you guys watching, like shows or TV? I know everyone's at home, so like we're watching shit and stuff right
The
now.
Office.
Yeah.
Before
The
they took it off
classics.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Over and over again.
I'm watching Seinfeld right now. I've never watched it all the way through, but
Good
I
choice.
was like, let me watch Seinfeld all the way through. It's such a solid show.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just make sure you shut it
Supernatural.
off for the finale.
What's the season or the series finale, Nick?
Yeah.
I've seen that before.
Supernatural. I just finished that.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
hell yeah.
finished. It
I'm
was
super
pretty.
behind, but
Yeah, it's a classic. It's been on 15
Yeah.
years, and they just finished it, so it's pretty crazy that it's over. But that was one I got into a while back. So, and The Walking Dead is the other one. The Walking Dead.
Word.
Can't go wrong.
Word. Is there any other like stuff that you're into? Anime, comics, other shit. I find everyone's an anime fan now, so I have to ask.
See, I'm not. I have never gotten into it. I mean, I've seen like a few here and there, like Bleach. I don't know if you've seen Bleach, but like that one when that was like first starting, I saw the first like 2 seasons, but I didn't keep up with it. I don't know.
Well, I wouldn't say probably any of us are like anime guys per se. Well, maybe
Ross,
Ross. Sorry.
He's like,
Ross.
actually,
My wife got me into anime many years ago, and some of it's pretty spectacular.
But like the movies slap, dude.
Oh,
like talking like Princess Mononoke and
Classic.
Spirited Away, because
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
these Japanese or whatever movies, and they get the American stars to do the voices and stuff. And dude, those movies slap. So I guess we're not opposed to the anime, but we're not aside from Ross maybe, but we're not, I wouldn't say we're like super duper into it.
Where
I'm a
Word.
huge Godzilla fan though. So,
Yeah, that's true. That's facts.
Fuck yeah.
word like classic Godzilla, like man.
oh yeah, all of it. That's my go-to.
If it's a giant monster, Dylan wants it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Awesome. I know they just put like all that stuff on HBO Max. I still have to go
Yes,
and
they did. I
cycle
saw
through
that.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Word. Yeah, I gotta ask. Sometimes you talk to people and you're like, "Oh, what's your influence?" And they don't even say music. They say, "I just watch like One Piece, man." I'm like, "Oh, okay." But yeah. So, like, is there anything else you guys you know want us to know? Perhaps about this EP, things that are coming, just anything in general that you just want everyone to know.
You guys got anything?
Well,
Yeah, go ahead, Dylan. You got it.
okay. So basically, in this coming year, like, yeah, we got the EP coming out, and we're hoping to start playing some shows.
Hell yeah.
Obviously, last year we couldn't because
Played one show last year.
we played. We did a party at my house, we called it Metal Fest. We had another band play. We just had a whole bunch of people come over, social distanced, obviously.
It was all outside.
that
Everybody's-
was our only show because we couldn't play any indoor stuff.
Yeah.
So hopefully,
was-
this coming year we'll be able to do that more.
It was super frustrating because, we had this not brand new album, but the album came out in fall of 2019.
Yeah.
And then we got the other two guys in the band and started rehearsing and stuff. And we had a show lined up for March, I think, of 2020. And that was set to be our first show. And we were practicing our asses off. And we're getting the show tight because this is really, it's kind of complex music. And we wanted to do it justice. It means a lot to us. So we got the show pretty damn tight. And then COVID hit and everything got canceled. It was like, oh, what terrific timing. So yeah, I think we're really itching to play some shows in 2021. Hopefully by the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, dog, I totally feel that because it's like I've done a few virtual sets, but there's this weird new thing where people don't want to pay you for sets because they're virtual now. Like,
Right.
oh,
Yeah.
it's just exposure.
You're still
It's
putting
like,
the same work in.
Yeah. Oh,
it's like
exposure.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's so garbage. It's literally like a whole revenue stream that's just gone.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
this other stuff. So I totally feel. Yeah. But word. Anything else y'all want to share? Say
I'm good. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, the next song will be out hopefully pretty soon. So
Oh
we
yeah,
just
the
finished-
next
we
song
finished up another one.
slaps, dude. The next song
bet.
slaps so
This
hard.
This is one that like Alex and I wrote it actually for a different band like years ago. Then we
Oh,
took it
so
back
long ago.
with these guys and we amped it up and it's like way better than it was before and we got it recorded professionally and it's like really like I'm super proud of it.
It sounds
slaps.
great.
I mean that's you can only say that it slaps.
I love that
Yeah.
song. I love that band.
I can't wait, man. Word. Well, when it comes out, feel free to send it over.
Definitely.
Sure.
We'll
Absolutely.
You guys want to shout out Doug?
review it.
Oh yeah, we definitely shout out to Doug White,
Oh,
who's
yeah.
the guy
Oh,
we
hell
recorded
yeah.
with.
Oh yeah,
Well,
he's
it's like
killing it.
Watchman Studios in Lockport, New York. It's
He's
the
our
best-
engineer and like pretty much has like the producer aspect for us too. Like he puts a lot into the songs and you can tell.
Yeah, and
Like
he's not afraid to tell us.
What we have before we go into the studio, like generally like it just gets better after we record it because he has a lot of input that like he's like Nick was saying, he's not afraid to tell us if something he thinks can be better. He puts it in, we take it home with us. So I mean he does a great job. He's fantastic.
Word. I know I was just like steering towards the end, but now I have another question because that happens. In terms of like working with the engineer producer, like is this the first kind of time like for your first project? Was that through like that professionally recorded, or did you all mix master and all that stuff?
So like they were talking about Doug White, his name. He has Watchman Studios in Lockport, New York. He's legit. Like he recorded Gym Class Heroes, The Bunny, the Bear,
Every
So
time I
he's
die.
very legit.
Every Time I
What's
Die,
that, Dylan?
Every time I die.
Every time I die, yeah. So
Yeah.
he's the real deal. But it's on a smaller basis. You know, it's not a big time studio per se. It's you know, it's like tucked away. So we've recorded with him before. We had another band, me, Dylan, and Ross actually, called Delano Steel, and we did a couple albums with that band through Doug at Watchmen. So that was pretty dope. But yeah, Doug's always been the producer, engineer, jack of all trades.
Right.
So he's really helped us throughout the years.
Right.
He's the man. He's a wizard. I swear he's got something to do with witchcraft.
I'll let me add though, because
Go
for
on.
this
Yeah, go
album,
ahead.
we are doing a little bit different with this EP. Nick records a lot of his stuff at home. So like he's been taking his leads that he writes, recording them at home, and then Doug takes and mixes them in with what we record
Right.
at the studio.
Takes
Yeah, and we have a lot
saves-
of home demos we come to the studio with too
Yeah.
that we give the Doug
Yeah.
for.
so it saves
reference.
time, and it's like, and it sounds awesome too because Nick does
Yeah.
a good job.
Word.
Yep.
Word. So thank you guys for chopping it up. Just come by to talk. For anyone who's watching this, which will be sometime in the next 2 days or so, this was Misery Falls. You can follow them on Instagram at, what's your Instagram again? I thought I had it down up. I for sure
I think
don't.
it's misery.falls.
Yep,
I think you look that up.
Misery.falls.
That's it. Yeah.
Cafe. This is a